Welcome back, everybody, to Maniacal Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as you know, and yes, the rumors are very true. I won't die. I will be an entity doing my dance of joy in the podcast world for a long, long time. I try to rein it in a little bit here and there, but I'm off the chain, as everybody knows, and my flavor leads to anarchy in the UK for some odd reason. I can't quite figure that one out either. But my co-host, joining me as always, is here for another chicken ride as he competes in a dance off for a woman. Gotta stop doing that, Chancy. He's got the mind flow of a serial killer and is typically so hot. He'll preach that you better obey the cow god or your karma will be worse than three little pigs in a house made of hay. Come join as we hear the story of his life, aka the misadventures of Shitman himself, Chancy motherfucking Gripe.
Hi.
You know I love that one, Chancy. You know I have to love that one. If you're gonna put that fucking song title on a CD, you bring to this show, Chancy. No music against you. But welcome back, folks. We are back again, and of course, joined by an amazing guest to talk music with us as always. And our guest this week is Michaell Magrutsche, songwriter and artist. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. But first things first, how you doing tonight, Michaell?
It's awesome to meet you guys. It's exciting. I like it because I don't know where we're going, and I love that when we don't know where we're going. Where it's not set up a thing. I like the we can show how we can dance with each other. You know, I like it. I'm
Exactly.
very challenged. Yeah.
Exactly. And thank you, Nicole. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Harley. Thank you both for watching as always. And Nicole, thanks for sharing out as always. Folks, I should say that for later. But well, let me ask you this, Michaell. How did you get into wanting to make music?
I was a sick child and went to school, and in school I couldn't understand. I was dyslexic. 50 years ago they said you're dyslexic, and I couldn't do anything in school. So my, like so many adolescents, are music and art creation was my actually savior, because if I wouldn't have done music or anything, it would have been not alive anymore. So and at that time in Europe, it's very weird. You had to, if you wanted to be Jimi Hendrix and you want to be electric guitar, you couldn't, because what they said, the system said, you got to learn first classical guitar. Once you have the classical, only then you can shift to an electric guitar. And they said the same with a keyboard, that you can't have an electric keyboard. You have to learn by a regular piano first, and then you move on. And I did that for 2 years, and I was not aware that I'm dysgraphic. With my dyslexia comes dysgraphia, which my hand-eye coordination. And so I literally learned 2 years classical guitar and I know 3, 4 chords. It never got anywhere. And I thought, okay, that's all. That's it. Forget about playing. Let's forget about it. And then by chance, whatever, a year later, a friend of mine said, "Oh, Michael, you're a DJ." I was a DJ too. And then and they said, "Hey, can you? The percussionist just got sick. Can you just do a little colors in percussion?" And it was like I never had to learn it. I was just right in. I was invited to all the gigs all over, and I was doing my CD, and it's like it came automatically. But I thought I need to study something, and I think a lot of people think they have to study something to actually express themselves. And I say, no, you don't have to. Does it help? Yeah, of course. If you study something, it helps, but only in the context of you, not in the context of how everybody plays. You have to find your own way to play, your own expression of your one of one voice, because not everybody has a voice like Sinatra, right? We all have different voices in our expression or our voice, singing voice.
It makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, I personally think I have a Frank Sinatra voice when I'm drunk, but that's me.
Yeah.
Um, there's a fun karaoke story behind that one, but yeah, I mean, I, makes sense. I mean, music comes through differently for everybody. I mean, I played drums for years. Can I play to
Yeah,
this day? Fuck no. If I picked up drumsticks, I'd be banging away like a kid on a trash can, for God's sakes. But
yeah.
I, it's just, it didn't stick with me. Didn't stick with me at
Mhm.
all. I mean, I know Chancey is an accomplished guitarist to some degree. So,
No, no. I
Nobody,
can play.
nobody will. But Chance, nobody admits that anyway.
That's
If you ask,
that's valid.
if you ask
You got
Robert
me.
Plant, if Robert Plant ask him, do you your kid go to Keith Richard? Hey, do you play guitar good? No, I've never heard a guitar player that says I'm a good guitar player. Never, ever.
You got me. You got me there.
Huh?
well, Michael, what, what album did you want to bring us tonight to have us give a gander to?
My album and Miles Davis's album. Miles Davis, the In a Silent Way, is my favorite album because it never gets old. I don't know what it is with that album; it never gets old. And I have very few music that doesn't get old in me. I'm not a person that constantly listens to old stuff. I don't watch movies over and over. I watch movies once, twice, and there's only two movies: a French movie and a Braveheart, were the only two movies that I repeatedly watched. I never watch movies over and over. And I Miles Davis is really is a magic in that album that I can listen anyway all the time, and especially this one. And there's only two songs, but they're very minimal and they're not free. Like Miles Davis is also free and avant-garde, and they're not. So they have a very strong rhythm too, and I love that because I can always access it. I'm one of 8 billion people. That's why this is. And my own album I created because of my experience with percussion and everything. I wanted to do something that is especially me. That's all rhythm interrelated and layered. I love layers, and when I talk about the green jelly, you will see what songs I like. Yeah, I like the layering. I like the play with rhythms and layering. And yeah. And by the way, I have no idea about music theory or anything. I have no education, so I'm totally
Neither do
self-taught.
I.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I I guess I'll let actually, yeah, I'm gonna let Chancey go first on this week with his review of your music because I have a long thing to say, so I'll let Chancey go first, so I don't have to let them give
I
his review.
actually, I thought it was pretty good. I there wasn't really anything that I had much to complain about. I listened to it at least 2 or 3 times on a like go through,
Yeah.
so that way I could because usually like what I'll do is I'll put it on in the background and then I'll play video games so I can just
Yeah.
experience it as it
Yeah.
is, and
Mhm.
then double back and then go through the track list and then listen to it again
Yeah.
to kind of hone in more on what's going to go towards like a top five. And then if I have to, like if I can't remember the names of tracks, then I'll go back to write them down in my
Yeah.
order.
That's what I
But
did.
yeah,
Exactly, very
yeah,
much like you. Yeah.
yeah. And I honestly, yeah, there was, I really thought it was neat that there was a lot of things that flowed together, even though they were separate. I
Yeah.
thought that was I really enjoyed that element. And then I also liked the inclusion of like the guitar in in a couple of the tracks. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Thank you, Jensen.
You're quite
Yeah,
welcome.
no, I mean I have to kind of agree. I mean, I listened to it. I listened to it the first day. You said that's what you wanted to use. So I listened to it the first day to get like an idea, and I listened through it again today a couple times because I mean it's all short little
Very
tracks. It's not
short.
like it's
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
for a 40-minute CD where you guys sit through it a couple times. But I listened to it a couple times and I was like, you know what, I can dig this because it actually can make me picture like scenes in life, in a movie, in a TV show, whatever. Like each one had like its own. You could just
Mhm.
picture something with it, which for good tracks, like good tracks, you have to be able to picture something. If you can't like, especially when it's all music based, when there's not really lyrics in any of it, you have
Yeah.
to be able to picture something. Otherwise, because there's no
Mhm.
story being told except by the music. Then
Mhm.
I dug it. I dug a lot of the elements. I mean, like I said, I was a percussion player, so the percussion of it all like blew me away to some degree. Like I did really appreciate it. I like the different stylings too. Like I like that you kind of like switch up the genres in each one. The
Yeah,
names were freaking. The names on a lot of them were really catchy and hilarious. So I freaking love
yeah,
that. Like that was. Anybody who knows me knows I like a good name for a show or a music song. But I mean, my podcast names are right along that same way. But so I mean, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I mean, and when there was little lyrics thrown in, they were kind of perfect. They were kind of like the perfect thing for that moment, and I dug it. I couldn't listen to the full CD at the end of it because they wanted me to pay for SoundCloud or something like that, or I don't
okay,
know what they wanted me to
yeah,
do. And I'm like, yeah, but all the tracks that you made were freaking so awesome. Like I freaking enjoyed the hell
yeah,
out of them, and definitely something I'm glad I listened to. And I could honestly, I think a lot of them should be in different TV shows. I had ideas and everything. I didn't write them down, but
yeah,
I had ideas. But so I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I definitely was able to pick like the five I liked out of all of them because I liked all of them. I mean, and the five I
yeah,
picked could be interchangeable. I didn't number them even because they could be interchangeable. Like they're all just
yeah, yeah,
they're the five ones I really like going back to again and again. But
yeah.
so this is always a question we love asking on this show. What were your top five tracks off your own album?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. Like I can look. I can look what the. uh, Coal Miner's Trot. I like. Uh, it's so long. You know, it's not long. It's like it's like 10 years. It took me 10 years. 10 years ago, I sent it out. You know. Let me see. Yeah. But let me see what I can fish out there. I didn't know I have to review my own. I didn't know that. So that's why, you know. So where is it? Uh, I like Slow Flow. I like Shattering Interplay. I like them all. I'm kind of like you guys. I like them all uh, because I did, you know, I mixed genres and I wanted to be me. I wanted to be, you know, I'm a loud person and the music is loud, you know. Look, I don't wear a red bandana with a red shirt. I wear a yellow with it's a hard contrast. I love contrast in music and everything. So I literally can't say. I mean, I would have need to listen to it right now. You know, tapping it in and say and tell you which one is my favorite. But also, I think that changes because today this is the favorite and tomorrow something else is the favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typically the way it goes with almost any album. When you listen to it
Yeah,
again, like there's you find new things, you get sick of other things. It's the way it goes.
yeah,
Well, Chancey, what were your top five off Michael's album?
So I mean, for me, I liked Big,
yeah,
Coal Miner's Trot,
yeah,
High Tech Salsa. I also liked Slow Flow as well. The Rough Preview was fucking awesome, if you ask my opinion. And
yeah,
then the Dervish Challenge
yeah,
was also
yeah.
a solid one for me as well.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing this. So I was not depressed. And you feel that when you listen to this, you feel I wasn't depressed or down or went through problems. I just had the biggest ball to just create that. You know, you couldn't get me out of the studio for that. You know, I was
Yeah,
just
it kind of reminded me of easy listening, but like actually easy listening that I could get behind and enjoy.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much,
Uh,
gentlemen.
oh yeah, I mean that actually is a good metaphor for it in a way. I mean, it's kind of like elevator music. I wouldn't mind being stuck in the elevator with. Like
Yeah,
it's that elevator music where you actually don't want to get out of the elevator. Where you're just like, I'll have to go ride back up and down again.
yeah.
See what the next
Thanks.
song is.
I think that would
But
be yeah, yeah.
but
That's
the five I picked, even though I could have picked more. I mean, Slow Flow was good. I'll say that. I enjoyed Slow Flow. I couldn't get into the Dervish one. I just couldn't get into it. Literally, I tried a couple times and it just didn't hit me like the right way. I don't know why. By the name of it, I thought I was gonna love it, but then it just
Yep.
I think the tempo just was a little standoffish for me for some reason.
Mhm.
But I liked the ones I liked were Rein It In. Dance Off for a Woman was really freaking cool. That was like very catchy. Dance of Joy was also very. I like the mood in that one. So
Mhm.
kind of gave me like a stick sing for the day like vibe. But
Mhm.
Mind Flow was also really trippy. I like that one. I mean, I took a couple puffs of the good old vape before I went back and work up on my cigarette break, and
Yeah.
the Mind Flow one was like, ooh, I dig this right now. But
Mhm.
and then the one that made me laugh the most, and I'm sure Chancey almost going to see this come, but Another Chicken Ride was freaking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun. I really had fun. It's so good, the reflection, because you didn't know in what position I was when I created that, right? And it's fun you pick that up. You say, hey, that was cracking up. That was interesting because I was in that mind state. That's why it's so important to be in a good mind state when you, even we three here, we have to be good and doing the best is now, not when we publish this or whatever. We have to create the best in the moment. And I love that because nobody has given me. I got a good reviews a lot, but that doesn't mean anything because you can get a good review or a bad review. I made it, so that's it. I'm good with making it. What the people say is the icing on the cake. That what you say is the icing on the cake to me. So, but I think the magic was here that you both actually reflected my mood that I was in by creating it. And I think that's fantastic because I think that's very honorable that this happens, that I can experience that because who can, you know? Uh,
Right.
yeah. So, do you know that Joni Mitchell is depressed? Or was she happy when she did these songs? Or even yeah, anybody, you look at any music and say, however, a lot of the time the band is fighting or whatever, and it's like a control issue or whatever. And it's still a good song, but that people pick up that my good vibes that's for me the biggest compliment ever. Even if you like it or not, I say, hey, this was fun, you know?
Exactly. I mean, and yeah, I mean, you don't know what bands are going through. Look at Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. Like you
Exactly.
cannot tell by a lot of that album that they are like on the verge of breaking up. Like you can't like some of those songs so happy you can't just freaking like catch that vibe.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. Yeah.
but yeah. So overall, enjoyed the heck out of your music and definitely would be down to hear what you do in the future. But
Yeah.
and now, folks, for something completely different, Chancey, what album do you want to bring this week?
I I actually brought Green Jelly's Serial Killer soundtrack. I did what I always do. I went to the YouTube music, I hit shuffle, and I was doing the shuffle part, and my cousin was hanging out, and he's like, "Dude, bring Green Jelly." And I was like, "You know what? I haven't done that. I had to check the list to make sure." But it's something that I remember growing up with. It was just one of those things that you couldn't believe it was a real band because it just refused to take itself seriously. But nowadays, it's like, there was Green Jelly and Guar that really kind of took over the early '90s, and then now you have like Psycho Stick, who they've also kind of do the similar style. They're a bit more heavy metal than like the punk rock heavy metal that Green Jelly was, or
Mhm.
is, I should say, because I think they're still out there doing the thing. But I just love how it's just satirical. It's just a giant joke.
Mhm. When I listened to it, I was like kind of lost first. That's it. What the hell is that? And not that it wasn't. I accept every music as music, an expression of a human. So I said that's funny. Oh my God, yeah. And then I heard the obey two. What is I think what is the thing? Obey.
Oh,
I can't read.
obey the cow god.
Yeah, and I loved that. Very punky, very punky. So I almost thought that was an English band. Is that an English? I don't know. I don't know anything about the band.
So the riff that they were doing in Obey the Cow God was a lot of it was the Ace of Spades by Motorhead.
Uh-huh.
So they were kind of covering that, doing a punk rock version of that, and then made a song about a cow god and the life that would be like if the whole world obeyed a sacred cow god.
Yeah. And then the Three Little Pig, I felt like it was like I am Iron Man. Da 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 da. I think they tweaked the octave for they tweaked it, and it reminded me totally. But you can, I'm Iron Man. You can. That it's such an archetypal piece of music. You can, if you get inspired by it, you always hear the I'm Iron Man. I always heard that. And actually in the next one too, in the Serial Killer. In the Serial Killer again, the little kid, very much like Iron Man. So, and my favorite was Tripping to on XTC because I'm like the mashup in it. The mashed up. There was a great mashup mixer. I love when my brain tries to figure out. I know that. Where I don't know that for. My brain is trying to figure out. Yeah, and it's turned on. You make a mashup that is not worthy, you're not listening. But if that was a good mashup, I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, Chancey, when you told me you're bringing green jelly, I think I literally respond to you with a yes.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah.
Because I mean, compared to other things you brought, green jelly is a fucking saving grace. Because green jelly is, I saw them live when they opened for ICP back in like 2017, 18, somewhere around there. 2019, maybe even. Nah, it had to be 2017, 18. But I mean, I knew Three Little Pigs, but I never really got into Green Jelly before that. But once I saw them live, it was such a fun moshing, lead singer stripping experience that I had to look more into this band because they're so unique. And anybody who watches our show knows, just like Chancey, I like unique bands that have special sticks to them. So, and Green Jelly is right up there. I mean, Three Little Pigs is a fucking classic. So, I mean, when I saw this album, I knew that's when Three Little Pigs was on. I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this shit. But I'm kind of dying to hear, Chancey. What are your top 5 songs? Because I gotta fucking compare notes here.
So, my number 5 was Flight of the Skajaquada. And number 4 was Obey the Cow God. Actually, number 3 and number 4 they were pretty close, like neck and neck. Because you know how much it takes a lot for a cover to really kind of win me over. But the way they covered Anarchy in the UK, I put that in my number 3 slot. Mm-hmm. And for number 2 is Serial Killer, just because of the fact that it's an entire thing about just different types of cereals. It's just it's really creative, and it's also interesting because it's a play on words. But my all-time number 1's always going to be Three Little Pigs because of the claymation video from when I was a child, and that nostalgia factor will always kind of hold true. I love Tripping on Ecstasy. That was a good one. The Green Jelly theme song it's always a winner. I could have just tagged the entire album and brought it on, but I was like, no, I'm going to keep it at 5 on this one.
It's funny because the Green Jelly theme song is what they end their set with.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, there's not many other bands out there that tell you to shout they suck. So,
except for Primus.
Well, yeah, maybe, but Primus. I feel like Primus and Green Jelly are in the same like circle, kind of in a way. But, and I believe you gave your top 5 already, right, Michael? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did have 2 honorable mentions in this because I fucking had to, and my first honorable mention was "Obey the Cow God" because it is a freaking amazing song, and I had to put it somewhere on the list. Didn't make top 5 for sure, but I had to put it on the list. And my number 6, which I thought Chance would be a little proud of me for this one, is the cover because "Anarchy in the UK" is my number 6 because I love when that song. I like a lot of bands when they cover that song, but this one was a really good version of it as well. My number 5 was "Electric Harley House of Love." I read it. I read it. But I mean, I love "Electric Harley House of Love." It's a freaking fun song. My number 4 had to be Misadventures of Shitman because it's that name alone, and the song was funny as shit. So, and my number 3 was "Play the Squadra Kawada," or how the fuck I say it, because it sounded very Iron Maiden like guitar.
Squadra
Yeah.
Squadra Quada, whatever the fuck ever.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
Squadra.
they have a lot of stuff, that reminded you. I think they constantly remind you of many. It wasn't like Twisted doesn't remind you. The green jelly reminds you of so many things. Triggers is a trigger happy group.
I mean the flight song. I mean, it kind of reminds me of "Run to the Hills." I think that's the song I was thinking of when I heard like the guitar in it. But my number 2, my number 2 was of course "Serial Killer" because I don't think I actually ever heard that song before this, and that song's fucking amazing, and so many good lines in it. And of course, number 1 has to be little pig, let me in." Not here, chinny chin chin. Like I fucking love that. Like when he does that live, it's so fucking incredible. It's so incredible when he does that live.
The fact that he hits the note is what's astounding.
Eh, I mean, you just flick yourself in the nuts a couple times and you can hit that sound. But
Yeah, let's all kick the nuts. That's to get to the right height.
music is dedication.
Yeah.
But well, I guess that means we're already at the time where we have to go to my CD. And you see, I already told Michael before the show, while we were waiting for you, that we were going to originally bring these albums on the previous episode that the guest ghosted. And I'm like that. This album I kind of did because the album that I guess was going to bring. But then I'm like, you know what? This is the album that almost anybody that enjoys music can enjoy because it's just a freaking well done album. And it's funny, Chancey, because you already heard the second part of this dual release many, like a year ago. It was a remixed to remastered version, but you heard it. But this album, Twisted Man's Myth, was one of the first Twisted CDs I really got into. And this was the rap side of it. The other CD was the rock side. But Man's Myth is just, the whole CD is just, there's not one song in there that I can't listen to like any day of the week, like if it comes on. I'm not going to skip over any of them because they're all pretty damn amazing songs. They're all well done, and I think they all have some important lessons to them. So they're kind of just commenting on human nature, which I freaking love, and the way they do it is great. It really is. And there's another special reason I wanted to bring it, but wait to my top 5 for that because I like to fuck with Chancey. But Michael, what did you think of Twisted?
I think it was good. It was good. It was unique. Well, I must say the green jelly and the Twisted were very unique. They weren't just, oh, that sounds like Billie Holiday, or that sounds like whatever. It was their uniqueness. I liked. I liked especially the story of our lives. The rhythm. I love how they played the rhythm in there. Get It Right. I like too. It's like I love how they play with the speed and rhythm. So there actually is time delays and amplifications and quicking, and at the same time they stay to a theme, and that's just not easy to do. You can't speed up and then go slow and moving these parts I really liked. Trepacy, I think Trepacy, C I like too. Uh, of the Jane I like the best because it's like Eminem. It sounds like Eminem. Um, um, and I like best the Get Ready. Also the second best, or I think number one was so obvious because it sounded like Eminem. I said it's a new thing of Eminem. But the Get Ready I liked because I think that's really my number one. The Get Ready is because it's the layering. How I like how you layer music, how you construct the music, and it was really surprising. It wasn't like, oh, okay, da 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 da, ba 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 ba. No, it was like ba 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 ba. So it was like from all over, and the layering of it, it really turned me on.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, and
Yeah.
yeah, they are unique. And the reason that Eminem comes to mind with them is because one of the duo actually, I mean, they grew up in the same trailer park as Eminem, so
Oh,
they
they
are from
did.
the same
Okay.
they're from the same area, and the one of them can even do Eminem's voice like perfectly, like he's done it in
Yeah.
skits and stuff. So he kind of naturally sounds like him in certain flows for some reason. Like I don't know if it's something in the water out there in Detroit or whatnot, but
Yeah.
like maybe they must be drinking the same trailer park water. I don't know, but
Yeah.
but that might be why you're thinking of Eminem because I can hear it in a lot of his songs too, just because
Yeah.
I know he does it in other songs on purpose. But
Yeah.
it's actually kind of funny when you hear him tell stories on podcasts and he just like slips into the voice like on purpose. It's freaking
Yeah.
hilarious. But
It's funny.
Chancey, I know this is not your first debut of Twisted on this show, for God's sake, but what did you think of this variation of Twisted?
You know, honestly, dude, you've brought so much of this to my, I shouldn't say attention. You've force fed so much of this stuff to me that my algorithm now recommends nothing but like all that stuff, like Twisted, ICP, Dark Half, Isham, just all of it. It's all there, and it just won't go away. And and it's kind of like I've said. I mean, I've said it before. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff about this that I know that I would like. It's just that when it gets brought so many times, it's like, I can have meatloaf a few times a week for about a month or so, but if I have meatloaf every day for 2 weeks, I'm gonna not eat some meatloaf anymore. Having said that, though, like, you're right though, and so is Michael. There's a lot of stuff about this album that I do enjoy. It's just you know, the old stereotypical poisoning of the well.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, I can see how you could say that with ICP or Dark Half or Isham. Well, not Isham really, but because Twisted's a little different to me. Each album is like a whole new band in a way. Like they kind of switch up their style in every album they do, and like this also wasn't really like even a horrorcore rap album for them. It was just like a rap album. Like they didn't really touch on the
Right.
horrorcore elements too much, at least. Like
No,
of
and
course there's
and
some, but
and that was one of the things that kind of grabbed my attention about it. And you're right, to their credit, they are a band that has evolved over time to incorporate other stuff. It's just that it's more so you got pre ICP and post ICP, because like the pre ICP time is where it all kind of blends into what they are, like, what ICP sound was. And then the post where it kind of starts to take on a lot of new form, where they go into start incorporating and expanding into directions that they want to go rather than what they're allowed to do.
well, actually, this was during their tenure at Psychopathic. This
Oh, I
was right in the
know.
middle of it. But
I
I
know.
mean,
You could tell.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, there's obvious signs, but yeah, I mean, it's it's when these two albums are when they started to evolve a little bit, in my opinion. This is when they started their evolution. This is when they realized, okay, there's other things out there. that we could rap
Yeah.
about. And plus, House of Crazies, when they were House of Crazies before they were even Twisted, they were completely different.
Right.
But for this particular album, I apologize, Chancey, but I do a top 10. How can I
Of
not?
course you do. Of course you do.
And it's funny enough, after hearing Michael's, because my number 10 is actually Get Ready, because I love the verses in Get Ready. The verses are incredible. The chorus drives me insane. So I love the verses. I think even Violent J is a verse in that one, and it's his verse is actually really good for him. But the verses throughout that song are freaking incredible. My number 9 was Karma, because that song it's incredible. Like, I don't know what it is about any psychopathic artist, but when they talk about karma, those songs always come out so perfect. Number 8's The Argument, because I like how reality it is. I love how realistic the fight is. I love how it's a situation that everybody has seen or been in. Number 7 was The Story of Our Lives, because I love that as an opening track, and it's just the flow and the beating is incredible. And of course, number 6 has to be So High, because it's just a classic stoner song. Like, any juggalo knows that stoner as a stoner song. It's so freaking fun. And number 5 is Won't Die, because who doesn't like a song about not dying? Number 4 is Feel This, because I love the verses and the flow in it are so freaking incredible. Like, when Twisted does their fast rapping, like in this song, they are so good at it. Number 3 was Entity, because as a paranormal podcaster, I have to love any song about spirits, and Entity and Twisted does some good ones, but about spirits, and Entity is definitely one of their top ones about it. It's just a freaking amazing song. Number 2 is Off the Chain, because Off the Chain is so fucking hilarious. And the skit that comes between So High and Off the Chain is just, I love that skit. It always makes me laugh. It always makes me laugh. It's like, who are you? How'd you get in here? Are you a man? Like, it's just fucking hilarious. Like, it just cracks me up every time. And my number 1, of course, is the bonus track, aka Flavor, because they took a amazing song by Loonies and made it even better, in my opinion. I love every rapper on it pretty much, and they all do an amazing job, and they make it sound so amazing. The beat sounds better than the original version. So, and that was probably the reason I wanted to bring this too, is because I've been dying for Chancey to hear this remake for a while.
Fair enough.
But what were your top 5, Sir Chancellor?
So number 5 for me was Controversy. Number 4 was Introduction. I thought the introduction was really good.
It is a good introduction. It actually is, yeah.
I know you expected it to be my number 1, but it's not. So number 3 is funny because we had our number 3 was the same. It was Entity. Number 2 is actually Flavor. Number 1 is Fuck You, because that's exactly what I wanted to say from the moment I pressed play.
You would, you dick. You would. But you gotta admit, they did a good job of
it was definitely a good job. They did a good job with it, for sure.
And what's funny is when I heard that, when I first heard that song, I honestly thought I thought they were the original ones who made that. I didn't know that Looney's did it for a long time after that. Like, till I heard it on a store or on the radio someday, and I was like, oh, what's this? But it's one of my favorite Twisted albums. I wanted to bring for a while since I brought Mutant Remixed and Remastered back when what's his name first came on. I forget, English guy, but British guy. I forget his name. Sorry, buddy. But it was a long time ago. But yeah, so I like it, and I was happy. I forgot to bring it in front of Chancey. But well, folks, we brought you these albums 3 as always. and three good albums as well. So it was a good show. And we want to thank Michael for coming on and having a good time with us because it's always fun to introduce someone to new music and actually have them like it. So
Yeah.
it doesn't always happen.
I
It doesn't always
I
happen.
really enjoyed it, guys. I really enjoyed it. It was very interesting because I had no idea about those groups. I know a lot of music, but today it's not like in the old days that you know 100. There were 100 musicians, right? Fleetwood Mac, Stones, Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, and that's what everybody could talk about it because they were only so few. Today you cannot know every music because there's so much music out there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that doesn't
Well,
mean you have to judge it and say because I don't know him, they are shitty. You listen to it and you find something out. It's an expression of one human, or a couple of humans. And by the way, where are these bands, are they American or English?
Mine's American. I believe Green Jelly's American too.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, mine's from Detroit and Green Jelly. I know where they're from. I just can't think of it.
Yeah.
I know.
No problem.
I think actually I want to say they're from. I want to say they're from Maine for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like that's wrong, but I feel like for some reason that's in my head. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But Michael, where can they find you and where can they find your music if they want to hear it?
MichaelM.com, Michael with two L's, MichaelM.com. And there you see my writing, my paintings, my all the interviews I did. And I also have something for artists that when they create, my podcast is 30 seconds. Every Saturday, 30 seconds. Quote from me, what I became aware of in creating art with a question. So there's no right answer or wrong answer. It's just for you to get conscious about. And it's kind of an amplification, like a turbocharging of, if you're a creator, it's the turbocharging of you, of your uniqueness, of your one-on-oneness,
Right
Well,
on.
there you go. And Chancey, where can they find you besides the void keeping
In
the
heaven,
entity company?
besides in heaven, Jancy.
Well, Instagram and TikTok is the Red Eye Roundtable, and X is Red Eye Table, and the Scavenger Hunt still is on. That's my first name on Facebook, if you can find me. And the album hasn't been brought on to the show yet, then I will bring your album on and suffer the consequences.
Yes. So hey, we actually had one suggestion that was freaking amazing. So I do not hate, and actually I like two of the suggestions, but I know you hate one of them. So but yes, folks, Chancey Greif, the world's biggest Beatle fan. But yeah, you can find both your musers on Facebook as the Uncensored, Unapologetic, and Untamed Podcast Collective. You can find us on XX Baby in the Graham as that Juggalo Bastard. You can find us on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. And you can find us on YouTube where we're streaming now as Maniacal Music Musings. Or, we're also members of the Parapost Network and we're also members of the Blind Knowledge Network because, all knowledge is blind until you feel this. Have a good night, everybody.